I chose the Gospel of Thomas for Project 2. The Oxyrhynchus papyri are a group of manuscripts discovered during the late 19th and early 20th century by Grenfell and Hunt at an ancient garbage dump in Egypt. The Gospel of Thomas is amongst these manuscripts. The author of the Gospel of Thomas remains unknown. Dr. April DeConnick argues that there may have been many additions to this book over time. Not only were there many additions, but there could be many authors contributing. The date of composition is possibly as early as 40 AD or as late as 140 AD. Valentesis dates Thomas to 100 to 110 AD. Lots of discrepancy and argument amongst scholars about when and who contributed to this text. In N.T. Wright's book, The New Testament and the People of God, he argues that Thomas lacks the early Jewish identity of the first church, and that Thomas seems to be shortened and smoothed out for a Gentile audience. When comparing the canonical Gospels with the Gospel of Thomas, we see some striking differences. In John 14:6, Jesus is the light, but in Thomas 24:3, the light is within all. Fasting and prayer are good in Matthew and Luke, but fasting and prayer are deemed bad in Thomas 14:1-3. When reading the canonical Gospels, there is teaching and history and a voice that's very Jewish, whereas in the Gospel of Thomas, the thinking, the teaching seems very Greek and Gnostic. The Gospel of Thomas is a collection of sayings. It's one of the most famous apocryphal books, containing about 114 sayings of Jesus. It contains no narrative or sermons, but is simply a collection of the sayings of Jesus. Early church fathers rejected the Gospel of Thomas, including Hippolytus, Origen, Eusebius, Cyril, Didymus, Jerome, and Ambrose. All considered Thomas heresy. There were other reasons why Thomas was not admitted into the canon. The four gospel tradition was established early among church fathers. The four Gospels were widely read and circulated, unlike the Gospel of Thomas. I pulled from the following sources: The New Testament and the People of God by N.T. Wright, Jesus and the Eyewitness Testimony by Richard Bauckham, and the Gospel of Thomas by Richard Valentesis.